You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graham Forsyth. This edition of the Prospect Show is brought to you by AETi, Tovi Hockey, and Evolve Green. We're back for another edition of the Prospect Show. We took last week off. I wasn't feeling the best due to some symptoms from the COVID-19 vaccine. They were normal symptoms. Wasn't feeling too great, but I'm feeling in tip-top shape now. It's going to be a great show tonight. We got a guest from TS Hockey joining the show, co-founder Trevor Lakness. He's going to be joining the show to just talk about what TS Hockey is, how the company started up, the journey along the way, how the company has grown, and some other good stuff as well. Of course, the NHL draft is happening right now, the first round. Just looking at the picks that are in right now, 18 picks have been made. The Jets picked, I believe you pronounce his name, Chad Lucius. Don't know anything about this player. Honestly, don't know much about this class. Haven't really been following the prospects of who are going in this NHL draft, but I know that the expected number one pick went in Owen Power. He looks like an absolute monster with his size and just the upside that he has. So yeah, some good picks for sure. Seems like in the NHL draft so far, Luke Hughes went to the Devils, so he'll have a chance to play with his brother Jack, which is pretty cool. But enough of the NHL draft. Let's dive into the Prospect Show now, bringing on the guest after the intro. Trevor Lakness of TS Hockey here on the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Wow! Always love to hear the sound of the Prospect Show intro. Is a great way to start off the show. And joining me now is the guest of tonight's episode. It's Trevor Lakness, co-founder of TS Hockey. Trevor, how's it going on this Friday night? Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Nice to meet you too. It's always good to be on ASTV. Just kind of paying attention to the NHL draft like yourself. And yeah, people are asking me, what do you think of this? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. It's not that this year's draft doesn't have the hype that, other years have had. And it's probably not going to have the hype in the next few years when Bedard and them get drafted. So good. I'm good for everybody getting drafted, I'll say.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard a lot about Owen Power, like he was supposed to be going number one overall. But overall, really, like you said, haven't heard much hype about this year's draft. And I feel like it's because there isn't that slam dunk potential, I don't know, top end prospect in this draft, but like a Lafreniere or a McDavid or, like you said, a Bedard. So it'll be interesting to see what Owen Power becomes with the Buffalo Sabres. Hopefully they don't butcher his career like they have to so many other players. But Trevor, it's great to have you on the show, man. I know that you've been on with Jared Down of the AAA show. So is this your second ever interview with ASTV, if I'm correct? Yes. Yeah. So, I noticed that you're wearing a Mars Blade hat. I actually bought Mars Blades back in my grade 12 year to train helped my skating during the off season, and it did wonders for me. Just as a skills training coach, as a hockey training coach, just what can you say about the Mars Blades and the great benefits that they offer to prospects and players out there?
Well, any rollerblading's good. I mean, rollerblades are crazy expensive. You can get pairs up to $1,200 now, and everything. Is the Mars Blade better than that one? I don't know. I like it. If you got an older boot and you got to skate, you just don't want to throw away. You can put the blades on it if it's all broke into you. So that's kind of nice to have a boot that's really hours of breaking in, because being in Saskatchewan, we don't get too many hours, not hours of rollerblading a year. So we'll take it. And as for training, I just think rollerblading is one of the best things kids can do. And Connor McDavid was a huge rollerblader, if that means anything. But some people complain about rollerblading that, it makes you feel different from going from on ice back to rollerblading. Rollerblading, the mix. I've talked to several high-end power skating coaches. They say it affects skating zero and just strengthens your legs up. And if anything, you get a nice skate around your neighborhood.
Man, it always sucks when this happens because I can't seem to hear you anymore, Trevor. There's a stupid bug in my computer. I swear it happens every time when I use this mic. So I'm going to get you to rejoin the stream, rejoin the link that I sent you to join the stream. And we'll get Trevor back in just a moment here on the Prospect Show. I've been joined by one of the co-founders of TS Hockey.
Can you hear me?
On this edition of the Prospect Show. I'll be back with Trevor and we'll get him back in here. And I'll hopefully be able to hear him after this commercial break. Stick with us, folks. Alrighty, welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Production. A premature commercial break there. Wasn't expecting to take one so early, but let's see if I can hear Trevor now. Trevor, seems like I can hear you. Great to have you back on the show.
Test.
Yeah. It's a bit harder to do these technical difficulty tests live because we are live. But yeah, it's good to have you back in here on the show, man. Just talking about, it seems like, Brendan, everyone can always hear the guests fine, but I always can't seem to hear them. But seems like you got a big fan here, Trevor. Brandon McGuire commented Trevor with 2 exclamation points. He brought up a question that I should ask you. Ask him about the fight camp his fight camp with Derek Bogard and Derek Parker. What was that about?
Well, that's funny. So I'm all prepped for this interview, probably because of Brendan McGuire. My first ever interview was the Derek Bogard fight camp, and oh boy, yeah. So Brendan McGuire's got a memory like nobody. So he'd have to type up what year that was, but I'm saying it's got to be close to 13, 14 years ago. I used to have a different hockey training center in Regina called Puckmasters. It was a North American franchise. And I was training a few NHLers and had a few NHLers in there that summer. And I had Nick Schultz, who played for them. It just coincidentally, all the guys living around Regina area happened to be Minnesota Wild. So we had a Nick Schultz camp, and we had a Josh Harding. He was a goalie. We had a goaltender camp, and then Derek Bogard was there, and we thought, hey, let's do a Derek Bogard fight camp, but teaching kids how to protect themselves. Well, so we brought in a whole bunch of kids that were like 14, 15, all the way up to like WHL, and it was supposed to be the feds. And one of the owners, Todd Ripplinger, who was a scout for the Pats, he invited a local journalist in to kind of cover this Derek Bugard fight camp. Well, the next thing, I have friends in Prince George and one friend in Toronto phoning me saying, "Hey, I read about this fight camp in the paper held by you." It went right across Canada, and then we did another one, and the New York Times showed up, and Minnesota Wild's journalists came down, and it was in that time, that July 15th, in a normal year, July 15th to like August 15th, where free agency's done and there's no hockey news. So it was kind of, if you understood the game, you were supporting us, but if you didn't, you thought it was the most barbaric thing, teaching 14, 15-year-old kids how to fight. And you can't market it as kind of a protection camp, right? He had it as a fight camp. So we took a lot of heat that summer, got a lot of publicity, but we get asked a lot. My partner, the S&TS Hockey, he was I wouldn't say a scrap. Well, he fought lots in the WHL, but he was kind of more of a Tom Wilson. He had skill on top of skill. He could fight. And so there's a lot of kids asking us to do a fight camp this summer, and we just say, go to the boxing club, your local boxing club for that. We're staying away from that now. But thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, for sure. Getting in the ring is always a great way to get some training and take out some frustration on potentially a sparring partner or the good old boxing bag. But I noticed your background. Seems like you got a lot of hockey pictures in the background. Could you tell me about some of those pictures you got?
Oh, well, I just collected hockey pucks since I was a small kid, and and when I guys that I train, I try to get a puck to autograph by and where they are, and the next thing you know, when you start collecting pucks, people go places and, hey, I bought you this puck, I bought you this puck, and next thing you know, you have a puck collection of 50, 100 of them, so it just adds up. And I got a Gordie Howe autograph picture, and Doug Gilmour, met him, he's my hockey hero. And just above this, other way here, this one right there is an Xavier LaBelle art piece. He was my cousin. He still is my cousin. He was in the Humboldt Bronco crash. So that's a little commemorative piece that a few of our family members have, and I'm proud of.
Yeah, that's great that you have a way to commemorate that travesty of a day in a way with a picture, which is great. Moving away from that, just talking about your hockey hero, Doug Gilmour, just why he's your hockey hero and just the experiences of you watching him play.
Well, I made the mistake of becoming a Leaf fan in 1993. I was an LA Kings Gretzky fan, and I was watching a lot of Coach's Corner. That's at your age where you start having a brain. And I was grade 5 or grade 6 in 93, grade 6. And I'd watched Coach's Corner lots, and Don Cherry would always talk up Wendell Clark and Don Cherry and Doug Gilmour. So you start believing that's what a good hockey player is. And to this day, I can't think of an NHLer like Gilmour. He had skill. He would go up against a big guy. He just fearless. He would drive to the net like nobody else, and he was a gamer. In playoffs is when he really stepped it up. It's just really unfortunate in Wendell Clark and got Gilmour's time there in 93, and they made another run in 94 that they just couldn't win a cup.
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior, like you said, Doug Gilmour, going out there against some monsters for sure back in his day. I feel bad for you with you being a Leafs fan. I know being a Jets fan, it's come with its hardships, but being a Leafs fan, at least the Jets can get out of the first round, right? But it'll be interesting to see when that day comes for the Leafs, when they can get out of the first round. Just talking about your experiences in hockey, just the relationships, the friendships you've made along the way, the connections you built up, how truly important are those connections you find any athlete, especially a hockey player, can build up?
Well, connections, the hockey world's a really small world, and it's always a changing world too. there's people in the hockey world that are very active from a young age of 21. People, maybe ending their career to very old 70s and 80s. So it's not the same people. So there's always room when you're going to these tournaments to meet new scouts, meet new agents, seeing the people that retired from pro hockey coming back into the game. And, relationships are everything. And if there's a player that the biggest thing for me is I think of, a guy that might be having some problems. And then you can think of another player like 15 years ago that, hey, I remember him going through the same thing. So I might connect the two players up, or might just phone that guy for advice of training this guy, so it's the hockey. The one thing about hockey is it doesn't change. The people do.
Yeah, for sure. And just in terms of just your experiences leading up to you becoming a co-founder of TS Hockey. Of course, you had Puck Masters, the fight camp. Just talk about what led up to this experience, this opportunity for you to be a co-founder for TS Hockey.
Yeah, so I didn't ever, in the last 15 years, my son was born, 9 years ago, and I kind of took it easy in hockey. I just kind of trained, the kids I've been training from the young age as they were playing pro, and, a few of them trying for Olympic dreams, the women I was training, and, as they got older and started finishing the game, I wasn't doing much. I was, helping some bantam teams out or whatever. And then when COVID happened, so I was always involved in it heavily, but not to this extent I'm back in it. Then when COVID happened, Shea Hiroko, my partner, he was doing Zoom trainings. And he asked me to come do some skills trainings. And we were just doing Regina area kids, parents phoning us and saying, hey, my kid's doing nothing at home. Can you guys do something on Zoom? And thought that was going to be the gist of it. Well, next thing, we had another guy create an Instagram page for us. And next thing you know, we're training the Iran national hockey team. We're training a lot of kids in New York and New Jersey. Yeah. And it just kept growing from there. And then I've always kind of done private shooting, and then just with Shea opening up a training center and a shooting lane, I do a lot of body movement and technical movement, and then on ice it's just been going uphill from there too. So we just actually finished the camp. If any of your viewers know, we had some pretty exciting Southern Saskatchewan kids in it. Sam Arumba was 7th overall by Seattle, and Ben Rich was in it. And Moose Jaw Warriors draft pick. We had some really good players in it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to interview both Sam and Ben, great kids with promising future in hockey, just with their experiences up until this point. I want to go back to just what you said, going to Iran, just to help train a team there. Just how surreal was that experience of just hockey?
Well, we haven't been to Iran, just doing them over Zoom. But when the second this COVID world issues and borders open up, we're going there. They say it was awesome. When we hear a lot about Iran and those countries, and you think, oh boy. And when they reached out to us, we thought, what the heck? And they were some of the nicest people I've ever met. They were so appreciative after every session. Everyone sending us a private messages, thanking us, asking more questions. Like, they really want to become good hockey players there, and they love it. They have they have like a rink, just like they only have one rink in an area of 93 million people. So that's like 3 of Canada's in one area, and they have one rink. And their rink is like West Edmonton Mall in Edmonton. And if you've ever been there, but this is a modern day one where they have TV jumbotrons from goal line to goal line, and it's just the nicest facility you ever see. So, and they want to produce hockey players, and they're all in. So they're awesome people, and we hope to continue working with them.
just how exciting is that to see? Is just a fan of the game of hockey, just looking at it from that perspective, to just seeing the excitement in a place like Iran.
Well, that's good, and I've said before, when Team Canada wins all the time in the World Juniors, that's great for Canada and us that we want to win, but it's not generally good for the global concept. We need other markets to win and be competitive to give hope. What I believe grows a sport is hope. You can have just a little example. Curling blew up in Regina back when Sandra Schmirler won those Olympic gold medal, right? Every girl believed she could win Olympic too. And it comes from winning. And so when countries in Europe do well, it kind of spreads to other countries and it grows the game. We want hockey to be in every country worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Just a beautiful game. I know that term is used for soccer. It's the beautiful game, but I like to use it for hockey as well. Just such a beautiful sport. The lifelong bonds that are made in the sport as well, and just that experience of just flying on the ice is just one of the things that I'll always remember. And yeah, just it's awesome to see more European countries getting better at the sport. Germany, of course, I feel like Dreisaitl's going to pave the way there for that country. And I've also been hearing a lot about a country like Japan too that's really getting into it, and Taiwan and other countries like that. So that's it's great to see this game growing like it should all around the world, and it just not being in North America, right? Just in terms of how this company has grown since it started in a short time, just the clients you guys have been able to work with.
Yeah, so we worked, we do Zoom. We thought kind of maybe after, when COVID was over, we thought that the Zoom would be done with, but that's not the case at all. A lot of people, because there was a time where people just wanted to get back to the rink, and the last thing they wanted was a Zoom meeting. So we thought the Zoom would take a punishment, but in bigger centers where you have to drive an hour and a half to a skills practice, and then an hour and a half back, and plus the hour, that's 5-6 hour day just going to a thing. So a lot of people that have rinks set up in their garage or shooting pad, we're still doing Zooms with them. A lot of high-end kids right around Western Canada for sure we're working with on shooting and skill, and that hasn't stopped. So I'd say the Zoom sessions are going to be going on for a long time, hopefully. And just opening up the center. Shay's trains a lot he does go-to movement. He's one of the best personal trainers, I believe. He not only knows his stuff, but he knows the body movement, and that's so important for a hockey player. And we've been just blessed. And, Saskatchewan for once is looking good on the draft eligible people. I mean, I don't want to say any names, but there's a huge chance the first overall pick from in the Bantam draft this upcoming year might be from Saskatchewan. Jaeger went last year, so Saskatchewan's looking good. So we're getting a lot of promising players from here.
Yeah, there was a lot of great talent from Saskatchewan going in that 2020 WHL draft, and it'll be interesting to see if Berkeley Cadden goes either number one.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I definitely see him or Macklin Celebrini going. But there's just so much great talent coming up in the sport, and it's exciting to see. And I'm sure that you, along with your buddy Shay, are so excited to get the opportunity to potentially train some of these kids. So we're going to come back after the break and talk to Trevor more about TS hockey here on this edition of the Prospect Show. I've been joined by Trevor Lakness. We'll be right back here on this edition of the show on ASTV Productions after this commercial break.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance. Quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm. Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you, with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to this edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. You just heard from one of our sponsors in Evolve Green. Check them out at evolvegreen.ca. They're doing some really great stuff in the solar energy industry of things, which is awesome. And, you know, Trevor Lakness, co-founder of TS Hockey, joining the show tonight. We've been just talking about how the company came to be. Just Trevor's past experiences. We got into some great stories, talked about some of the stuff that he has in the background in his room there that he's in. And yeah, we're going to continue talking about TS Hockey. Just talking about your partner, Shay. You've talked about him already, but just what's it been like just for you getting this experience, this opportunity to be able to work with Shay and work with helping kids?
So you cut out there. I missed the first part of the question.
What's it been like for you to get that opportunity to work with Shay?
Oh, it's great. And I used to train Shay, and back when he was a kid, he played for Swift Current Broncos. And what I love, he was so he came from a group of Regina kids. He was a 94 born. So if there's any older dads watching this, you'd remember like the JC LaPons was a 93. The Tanner Eberleys, the Derek Pouliots were in that thing. Shay played with Morgan Riley.
Wow. Yeah.
And Shay was one of the hardest working guys I've ever met. You know, he didn't even know what his summer vacation was, going to the lake was. It was working all the time, and he hasn't changed. So when kids are taking a week off to go work out or whatever, he doesn't understand that. Like, you know, if you want to make the WHL coming up here and you're taking 2 weeks off somewhere to go to a family trip, he just doesn't understand it. So I love it how he hasn't changed. And as for working with kids, any kid that gives us the opportunity and trust in us that, you know, we're going to try to work with you and make you better, it's just a privilege and honor. And we try to never, you know, take advantage of the time we get with you and make sure that we give you what you want.
Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, my browser shut down on me. But yeah, it's great that you've had that opportunity to have a chance to, have a chance to know Shay for a very long time. And now you guys are working together, which is awesome. Just talking about the name TS Hockey, of course, it's you and Shay's first name, the letter, the initial of your guys' name, your guys' first name. Was that kind of just keep it simple with the name? What was the thought process of, putting in the name TS Hockey?
Sorry, Graham, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now we can. Yeah, you're not beating
Okay.
anymore. What's the question? So I missed that whole question.
Yeah, no worries, man. We're full of some technical difficulties here
yeah,
tonight.
I can hear you good now.
Yeah, that's good. It's okay. Well, yeah. So just talking about how the name came to be, TS Hockey. Of course, your first name, the first letter in your name, your initial, as well as Shay's. Was that just the kind of thought process behind building the name? Is just keep it simple, or what was the thought process exactly of choosing TS Hockey? Those initials in that name.
Well, that was it. Basically, we needed a name quick because people are e-transferring us and paying us quick, so we had to set up the company quick and everything. And just thought, let's go with TS and Trevor and Shay, and let's get it over with. So it wasn't nothing pretty original, I'd say, but it's the TS. That's what we're called there. So.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we'll get into just what you've been talking about the Zooms and how it's been a good time doing these Zoom training sessions. Just what are the obstacles that you faced along the way of doing Zooms? The different challenges it possesses rather than you training kids in person.
I guess we got so used to it that just kind of became normal for us. I mean, one thing that's always is time zone. Here in Saskatchewan, we don't change our time. So, if you got an Alberta kid and you got to know time zones and getting them, making sure you're not screwing up what time it is. And so time zones can be an issue, just making sure you're always set. With Iran, we have to have a translator. So that's so when we're teaching, you have to cut your words in half, because if I say, bend your knees more, somebody has to say bend your knees more. So if I talk too much, then the translator talks too much. So you got to get your words quick, right? So
Right.
that with the translation, but it's pretty close to one-on-one, right? Because I can see, if your knees are bent, if you're stick handling your wrist, so I can see it all. On the training part, I can't see anything. Obviously, I'd like, when we're training on ice or at the center, bigger spaces so we can do more side to side stuff. But for the most part, I believe the training's very equal to if it was one-on-one. Maybe it's just experience we built over the year, but we don't have an issue.
Yeah, that's great that you guys have really found it as a pretty nice transition, and it's pretty much like training them in person, even though you're doing it virtually. Just talking about some training facilities that you guys got. Do you guys only got the one, or is there some other training facilities that you guys
No, we just have the one. But when I go to Saskatoon, we use the ice box, a really nice facility. So we'll just rent some ice there and then do one-on-ones or small groups there. But in the center, the athletes lab in Regina is where our shooting lane's out of, and we do your video breakdown and give you a little bit of a hockey workout in Regina here.
talk about that video training? I'm assuming there's a lot of analyzing that goes into it when you guys are breaking down stuff.
Oh yeah, ton. So what goes down in the basic hockey shot is everything from your ankles to your shoulders. It's a full body. So, a lot of the video is I'll just say two names that we were talking about earlier, Ben Rich and Sam Rumba. To watch them live, you can't physically, they have such a quick release and they're so fast that you physically can't see the little things they're doing wrong. But now when you break it down right to the milliseconds, so we kind of use the same computer, programming software as like golf swingers do, or like golf swing coaches. So where we get it to the millisecond, right? Where the hips are turning with the puck and, your elbows up and your weight transfers. So, the big thing about, I want to tell your kids, younger guys listening or people with kids, everybody thinks you just need a complete shot right now. You don't need everything perfect, right? So the video program, we only leave you with one or two things a day. So you can say, we can talk about maybe your hips turning and your weight transfer. So go home, practice a whole bunch doing 2 or 3 things, then come back, right? It's just way too tough to tell you 35 potential things that are wrong with your shot. The kid goes to the car and says, what did you learn today? And I don't remember. So it's just 1 or 2 things, and the video can really help bring. You got to remember, like another name we dropped earlier was Conor Bedard. That guy's been shooting apparently 1,300 pucks a day since he was 10 years old. He developed that shot over 5 years. Anybody you see great, they've developed over time. So the video just allows me to work on one thing at a time and then getting into the next phase of having a great shot or stick handling.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it goes down to like just building that technique, going over the little things like you guys do. And like you said with Conor Bedard, just that repetition. That's how you're gonna get better, right? Is just consistently working on that shot or whatever skills that you want to work on to improve your game. Brandon's been commenting a lot tonight, Brendan McGuire, and he said that your passion is refreshing. Just speaking about that passion, how it's really helped you to, be the type of coach that you are.
Well, first off, let's give a shout out. I don't know if your competition. He's got everyone go check out Brendan's. He's got a good article. He writes weekly. He's at close to 300. I never miss a thing. Brendan's a good journalist. Well, my passion, yeah, people have told me that before, and I just, and it's helped me with working with the best people. You got to do it, right? Like, you want something, you got to go all in, and and for passion, me and Shay want to be the best skills people, so we're always studying what the top players are doing, what the next level of guys are doing, and we're passing it on. And if we're having problems figuring something out with you, we're going to be studying it until we figure it out. So, and there's nothing better than when you get a guy in there that wants it. It just drives us to make it want to work harder for you. But, the other thing on the passion side, when I see a kid, and you might have some watching your parents, when I see a kid, nothing bugs me more in this world than when I see a good kid that doesn't care. That is what drives me nuts. Because maybe first off, I'm jealous that he's that good with, and there's players in the WHL like this. They get exposed quick though. That when you got all the skills and all the tools and don't put work into it, you're done. You will be done. It'll catch up to you soon. And that's what bugs me. So yeah, thanks you for the compliment, Brandon.
Yeah, and you're so right. Like, you could have, say, McDavid level skill. I know that's pretty rare, unless you're Connor McDavid. But you could have that skill, but if you don't have that passion, that if you don't have the care, the desire, you're not going to do much with those skills, right? And yeah, I think that's a great message. Is you got to care, and I think that's what is probably one of the most important things, and not only hockey, but sports in general and life in general. Just put your 110% in, or 100%, whatever you want to call it. Just talking about, is there any pricing that you guys have, like in terms of pricing that you guys offer for training sessions? Just talk about that.
Yeah, we got different packages. I think they're on our Instagram somewhere. We're generally $50 an hour for one-on-one, and or 50, different things, 50 to 85 an hour. And then we offer Zooms about the same price. And then we do a lot of, and we got guys right from Bantam to WHL where we do game film and work with you. We're not sports agents, but we do a lot, and we never step on coaches' toes. When you make a WHL team or you make a Bantam team, not all the coaches have time to work on a shot with you, or how to get that pass in the slot. Like, if you lose 3 faceoffs, you just don't get a chance at the fourth. You're benched. Or if you get set up in the slot 3 times for a shot, miss it, you're benched again. So we don't step on coaches' toes or none of that. We just make the player good in the personal system. And, so we can say to one of our guys phoning us, saying, I'm 40% on my draws. What can I do? So we'll send them for, we did a lot of this with a lot of WHLers when they were in the bubble. We send them stuff to say, videos, here's what to improve on, or a shot in the slot. I've had 12 shots in the slot, never scored once. They send us some video, we can send them some information. So again, not every coach is thrilled about that, but we're not stepping on any toes. And the thing is, a lot of teams don't have a personal skills coach for 30 different people. And we don't ever say to a player, your coach's system sucks. We just make the player stronger in that system. The things coaches don't have time. We're teachers, not coaches. Big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Love that. No doubt about that. Just talking about the use of social media. Of course, you guys got an Instagram account. You guys got a lot of good stuff on there, showing a bunch of different situations of shooters, and some great stuff like shooting videos that can be sent in for to be featured for Shooter of the Day. Just how useful do you find social media in that way of just building up that brand, of showing your I guess your followers just different types of situations and shooting like that?
Well, it's been it's been great. Like I said, like when we first started this, we thought we were just going to do 20, 30 kids from Regina, Saskatchewan, and I can't remember what we're at. I think 9 or 10 countries. We have Shooter of the Day videos from 9 or 10 different countries. Like, and they're all submitted. So, like, I mean, I can't know the list, but I mean, like, you know, Sweden and Finland, and we've had lots from Russia and China, South Korea, Iran, obviously, the States. Like, think like just people in their basement in Regina getting all these videos. It's really cool. But on the Instagram thing with players, so I put one of our most popular posts ever is just a quote, and scouts don't watch Instagram. This is my advice. I know your social media thing, but this isn't the interfering.
Yeah.
Scouts don't go on Instagram looking for kids. Scouts go to hockey rinks.
Yeah.
So there's kids spending way too much time posting videos. You know, if you go to the best, I guarantee you, if you go to the best top 5 kids, I don't know handle, but I bet you if you go to Berkeley Catton's Instagram, he doesn't post pictures every day. I bet you if you go to this, they're shooting. They're working hard. They don't have time for it, right? So be careful, kids. Sometimes when you post too much stuff, you know, you start building a fan base. And then when you don't make your team, you think, well, what's wrong? This video that 500 people liked my video and people said I was awesome, right? So just because they on Instagram think you're a good hockey player, right, doesn't mean you're automatically going to make your Bantam AA or your midget AAA team, right? So it's also be careful on Instagram too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's such a instant gratification feeling, Instagram, social media in general. And yeah, that's not what is going to get you to the top. It's that work you put in and just staying committed, staying on that grind of becoming a better hockey player. Just talking about just the people your brand, TS Hockey, the company, has partnered up with. I've seen it in your guys' bio: True Hockey, Potent Hockey, PVCK, and 306 Shop. Just what's that been like, just getting to see all these different brands that you guys have had a chance to partner up with?
Oh, it's been great, you know, and you know, it's you know, like, never heard of Potent, of the 4 companies you said, and they have some of the greatest hockey training stuff you can see at very affordable prices. You know, to deal with that's been great, and True to you know, use their products been great. And yeah, so just again, when you think you're dealing with 20, 30 kids on Zoom and all of a sudden all these opportunities come, it's great.
One more question before I let you go. You know, it's going to be an exciting season, especially with how different it is this year with the WHL draft being in December. Is there one prospect or a few prospects that you're keeping your eye on, you know, besides the names like the Berkeley Cattons, that, you know, you could see potentially making some noise this season out of the people you've had a chance to work with?
You know, I would love to say names, but you know, they're 15, 14. I've given up on the Bantam Draft Scouts 15 years ago. You just never know what can happen, what teams are looking for. That Bantam Draft, like, I mean, here's the thing. The NHL draft today selects Owen Powers first overall. He's 6'6". Even if he doesn't grow an inch or gain 1 pound, he will be fine in the NHL, right? You're dealing with kids that are going to gain potentially 20, 30 pounds before they play with their respectable WHL team. Your kids might not grow 1 more inch or gain weight till they're 20. So, I mean, like I said, Saskatchewan and Alberta and, you know, BC, I don't know much about Manitoba. I just hear they got some really exciting people. And then what else is exciting about the Bantam draft is, we've done some Zooms with Dallas people, and believe it or not, it's embarrassing for Regina, where I work in, but more kids are getting drafted out of Dallas, Texas than Regina, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And that trend's going to keep on going up. We're going to see more kids coming out of California. We're going to see more kids coming out of the Seattle area with the NHL hype that's been going on there for a few years. And the one thing though, that's this, I believe it's going to be, it's going to be the most accurate Bantam draft of all time. The reason being is because they're playing, if they're midget AAA, they're playing one league closer to the WHL. A lot of kids go from Bantam to AAA, and they don't even, that's their kind of where they end up, or they'll go to the SJHL, MJHL, but they never even play WHL. This will be, kids got an extra, 6 months, more than that, almost 8-9 months of time to grow, mature, play in AAA. So I think it'll be very accurate. The big taking the year off hockey. People say, well, that'll make it. No, it won't. It won't be. A year off hockey at 14, 15, 16 is nothing. They've been practicing all year, working on skills development. If anything, I believe a lot of these kids will be, way better than they are. And yeah, no, it's great. Midget AA and AAA are going to have a lot of scouts watching them this year.
Yeah, should be interesting for sure. I'm all here for it. It's going to be exciting to see, these kids where they go in the WHL draft, and it's a great point like you made. Just the amount of kids getting drafted in the States now. Like we go back to that point of just how hockey is growing all around the world. It's great to see the game growing in America, and I like the point you made about Seattle and how that new NHL team, the Kraken, is going to bring some excitement to the market in Seattle. I'll actually ask you one more question. Just the excitement for yourself. Just I guess the excitement around just knowing that we're going to see hockey back in the full swing of things come this 2021-2022 season.
Well, it's exciting, and Saskatchewan, next we're having our SHA zone tryouts for Bantams next weekend, I believe. And then Todd Ripplinger, scout with Moose Jaw Warriors, is hosting a top prospect camp for 06 born players. So that's all the draft eligible players. So hockey's starting up for us next weekend, which is very exciting. And then that goes straight into the AAA camps. It's, I'm not going to be the negative one here, but I've always dreamt, what would happen if we took away competition for 1 year and just focused on school and development? And I think you are going to see a lot of great hockey players for this is a social experiment, but I think we're going to see a lot of great hockey players for years to come. We were able to work with, every Canadian kid from the novice to, AAA, not worrying, not having the pressure of winning games and winning tournaments and winning provincials. Just a whole year of zero stress and focusing on development. I would love an argument, someone to say to me that this was bad. A lot of I've heard comments, people saying, well, the United States, we're behind them. They were playing games the whole year. Europe, we were practicing a whole year.
Yeah.
And I just, tell me what's with kids with zero stress and not getting yelled at, and I just think we are going to benefit so good from this. I could be wrong. Maybe in the next 5 years, Canadians will struggle. I don't know, but I just believe people will be very surprised of skill in minor hockey for years to come because of this break.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It definitely is an interesting opportunity that was presented this year, and I'd say the only downside is just these kids not getting to play because they want to go out and have fun. But other than that, for sure, your point's taken. respectfully. Like, it is going to be a unique opportunity, I feel like, and it's going to be interesting to see what these hockey players, these young guns, are going to be able to do in their season, especially for these 06s leading up to the WHL draft. Trevor, it was awesome getting to meet you and talk to you about TS Hockey and a bunch of other stuff. Thanks so much for coming on as the guest in this week's edition of the Prospect Show. We'll do it soon again in the future for sure.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always good to come on ASTV.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Trevor Lakness, co-founder of TS Hockey. I'm going to let him go now. I'll be back after the final commercial break in this episode to give you guys some final words on this edition of the Prospect Show. Stick with us here stick with me here on ASTV Productions. We'll be back after the break. And welcome back to I don't know where to point because I don't know how it works here on the computer trying to point to the Prospect Show logo there. But you guys see it on the screen now, the Prospect Show. Another episode in the books. Trevor Lakness, TS Hockey co-founder, joining me tonight to just talk about what TS Hockey is, just how the company started, just the experiences before TS Hockey for himself, and yeah, just some other great things too. And Trevor made some great points about just the year off and how it is going to benefit these kids in his eyes. And I have a feeling he could be right. It's going to be a special year of hockey coming up this fall, especially to see how things start off. And it's going to be so exciting. We got the AAA league in Saskatchewan, which is going to be awesome. The U18 league. I know the Manitoba league is going to be interesting as well. Probably. I don't know much about the league. Haven't really looked into it, but going to be exciting to see my home province, what type of products they can put out. And yeah, going to be interesting to see which players' stock rises and which players' stocks fall leading up until the WHL draft. Special thanks to Trevor for coming on the show tonight and being the guest. Special thanks to you, the viewer, and all the viewers, just viewers in general, for tuning into this edition of the Prospect Show, as well as a special thanks to our sponsors of tonight's edition of the Prospect Show in AETi, Tovi Hockey, and Evolve Green. Of course, Eddie Steele, a guest that I've been saying we're going to have on. We were going to have him on tonight, but Eddie's a very busy guy. He's a family man now, or maybe he's been for a while, but I know that he's busy with his kids a lot and his family. Great for him. The former CFL defensive tackle, now with MCN. We had Matt Gorman on, as well as, man, I'm drawing a blank now, but we had some of those guys on. It's going to be awesome to get Eddie on the show at some point, potentially next week, to talk about his CFL career, the year he won the Grey Cup with Edmonton, as well as his role with MCM. Sports advising and skill development. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I'm forgetting for some reason, but I'm not sure why. So, the Prospect Show, when you guys can watch it next, you will probably be seeing an episode next week on, Facebook and our website, our Facebook ASTV Productions, as well as our website astvproductions.com. And I did add in a stream tonight in this episode that goes out to Twitter. I'm not sure if it is airing on Twitter right now, this episode, but that's another place where you guys can check out our episodes now, potentially on Amateur Sports TV on Twitter. So yeah, lots of places where you can watch it. And yeah, be sure to check out the Prospect Show next week if we have a show at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and any of the places you can watch that edition of the show. So I'm going to get going now. It's Friday night. Want to sit down and relax, maybe catch the draft if there's still some draft left, but do the usual Friday night things like, just chill out and unwind from a busy week of work. I've been your host of the Prospect Show, Graham Forsyth, signing off now. Wishing you all, hopefully having a great weekend. Wishing you all that you have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, as well as enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll be back next week on ASTV Productions for another edition of the show. But until then, I'm signing off now, folks. Graham Forsyth, host of the Prospect Show here on ASTV Productions, taking care and taking off, I guess. Until next Friday, I'll see you then. Peace out.